2.
Good evening and welcome to the College of Charleston Virtual Town Hall for Admitted Students and Families. I'm Devin Thompson, Senior Associate Director for Admissions Events, and I'll be moderating tonight's event off camera. I, along with our esteemed panelists, would like to extend a huge congratulations to you all and a big welcome into the Cougar Nation family. We are thrilled to have you join us tonight, and thank you for your interest and your participation in the conversation. Joining me this evening are President Andrew Hsu, members of the college's senior leadership team, and campus partners. To maintain social distancing, all presenters are participating remotely from separate locations. We'll start this evening with opening remarks from President Hsu, followed by remarks from Vice President for University Marketing and Enrollment Planning, Amy Takayama Perez. We will then jump into questions that were pre-submitted through the survey found in the event Evite. If time allows, we'll also take live questions from the chat. If we don't get to your questions this evening during the live event, please email your questions to admissionsevents@cofc.edu. This account is monitored frequently and we will respond to you as quickly as possible. With that, I will now turn it over to President Hsu for opening remarks. President Hsu.
Thank you, Devin. Good evening, students and families. So good to have you all here with us tonight. This year has been a record-setting year for the number of applications to the College of Charleston. In fact, we grew 30% over last year and a full 60% compared to the year before. And your acceptance is a credit to you and your hard work. As seniors, you all have navigated the many stresses 2020 and 2021 have brought, while still keeping up your schoolwork and staying on top of your college applications. That alone is a big achievement. Now you have been admitted to one of the oldest institutions of higher education in North America. But don't let our age fool you. Yes, we are old, but we're also bold. Bold in thought and bold in action. You are joining an incredibly energetic community of scholars, and you're also joining a large extended family of diverse people of every background you can imagine. So again, congratulations. I'm very excited about the next chapter in your academic story. Now, let me turn things over to our Vice President of University Marketing and Enrollment Planning, Amy Takayama Perez.
Thank you, Dr. Hsu. And thank you to Devin and the rest of our senior team for being with us. And good evening, future Cougars and families. I want to join President Hsu in congratulating you on your admission to the College of Charleston. You represent some of the most talented and diverse students we have ever seen. As President Hsu said, this year received almost 20,000 applications for the freshman class, the most in university history. You've been selected because of your extraordinary academic achievements and your desire to be part of one of the finest public liberal arts and science institutions in the nation. We are so very proud of your accomplishments during another very challenging year. And parents, I join you in this journey as a mother myself of a high school senior, and I applaud you for supporting your students and giving your students everything you can along the way. Now, if you're like me, you're likely looking for an institution that can not only set your student up for academic and career success, but a place where they will feel like they belong and will be part of a nurturing and inclusive community. A place where they'll learn to be resilient, but also be well taken care of, and often be given the type of personal attention you might not see at other schools. And I believe the College of Charleston is that place. So tonight, we hope to share a little bit of CofC with you, and we hope that you'll learn a little bit more about our plans for the fall and the opportunities you'll have here in Charleston and even around the world. This is just one of the many events that we will bring to you this spring as you make your journey to becoming a Cougar. We look forward to answering your questions this evening, and I hope to meet so many of you in person someday very soon. Congratulations again, and I'll turn it back to Devin.
Thank you, Amy. All right, at this time, we'll now begin the Q&A portion of the evening. To start, I will again ask the panelists questions that were pre-submitted. Our first question asks, at this time, are classes planned to be completely in person for the fall 21 semester, or will there be a hybrid model in place? What measures has the college taken and implemented to ensure that students are still getting the best learning experience through virtual coursework?
This is Suzanne Austin, Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost. And first, let me add my congratulations to all of you. We are so very excited that you've joined us tonight. So excited that you're going to become members of the Cougar family. So welcome. I'm just delighted. I hope that I will get to see many of you on campus very soon. So the great news is that we are planning for a back to campus semester in the fall. President Xu sent out a communication to the campus yesterday, letting everyone know that as of now, we are planning to be back to as close to normal as possible. So what that will mean is that the vast majority of our classes will be completely in person for fall. Pre-pandemic, we offered some courses online, and we will continue to offer some, but the vast majority of classes are going to be delivered on campus, in person, in fully populated classrooms, so it'll be really an exciting opportunity. I just am so excited about seeing everybody back on campus. With respect to the second part of the question about what the college has done to make sure that students are getting the best learning experience, whether that is in person or online, I can tell you that throughout this whole COVID experience, the college and its excellent faculty members have taken this challenge very seriously. And our faculty members, I say, are second to none in the country when it comes to the way they have been delivering online classes. And we do have some resources that are available online, and we can get those links to you so that you can actually see what online coursework is like at the College of Charleston. We have some modules that are available to prospective students and parents. But I think the really exciting news is that we'll be back on campus in the fall, and most of our classes are going to be delivered in person. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of you then, and congratulations.
Thank you, Provost Austin. I think we can all agree we can't wait to see students back on campus. And I did put a link, as Provost Austin mentioned, into the chat for you all about those modalities. Our second question asks, will programs for new students like Spectra, Cougar Excursion, and sorority recruitment be virtual this summer?
Hi, Devin. I'm Alicia Cadell, the Executive Vice President for Student Affairs, and I'd like to talk a little bit about this question with everyone as well and offer my warmest welcome to everyone and let you know how excited we will be to welcome you to campus when you're able to join us. So this is a great question, and Spectra and Cougar Excursion and sorority recruitment are some of the programs that happen over the summer or prior to the start of fall semester classes. And we're approaching some programs a little bit differently depending on the program and the volume of students and the timing that they occur. So presently, we are working to have Spectra as an in-person experience that will run from the beginning of June till the beginning of July until the end of July. And so that program will be on campus as part of our summer campus experience. It will be social distance. We will follow all of the guidelines that are in place at that time to keep students safe, but it'll be a great opportunity for students to connect to the campus early in the summer. As far as Cougar Excursion and sorority recruitment, along with many of our other Weeks of Welcome programs, presently we're planning this to be in a hybrid experience. So that means some of the pieces will happen virtually and may happen a little bit before classes begin, and then others will happen once classes are underway and may have some components that are in person that will be following whatever the guidelines are at that point in time that keep students most safe. So we're really excited to design and deliver these programs. Cougar Excursion is a leadership immersion program that's really an exciting way to get connected as a student and to think about your path for leadership once you're at the college. Now, there are many other programs like Weeks of Welcome, campus rec programs, ways to connect with your classes that will also happen early in the fall semester. So we will look forward to welcoming you. We will also have components for involvement that are part of summer orientation. So you'll have a really good chance to engage both virtually and then in person once you're on campus to really get a good foundation. And we will provide a well-rounded range of those experiences. So we're really excited to welcome you, and whatever path you choose is the right way for you to get connected. We want to make sure we help you find it and you're ready to get started on those ways in the fall semester.
Thank you, Alicia. And in the same vein, will orientation be offered in person or virtually this summer?
And I can also address that question. So presently we are working on a virtual summer orientation experience, and that will be provided in a range of ways that let you connect in person and with some virtual activities that you'll do in advance. And then also we are working on ways that students can come to campus later in the summer for in-person opportunities for students that are able to do that. So there'll be a combination, but the primary part of orientation will happen virtually and will happen in several different formats that will be engaging and also educational and informative and help you make that connection before you arrive on campus. So keep watching for more information, and also know that there'll be a lot of welcome activities and programs that happen once you're on campus in the fall to make sure you know how to find your way around and how to connect with others once you're here.
Great, thank you. Question 4 asks, how has the college responded to COVID-19 on campus? What safety measures are currently in place, and what can we expect to continue for our students starting in the fall?
And Devin, that's me again, Alicia Cadill in Student Affairs. So I'm going to start this question, and then we have some amazing resources who are part of this response that are also on the call who can give you some more details. And quite honestly, we could spend this whole town hall talking about our response to COVID. So I'm going to give you some of the highlights, and then certainly if you want to follow up more individually, we have a ton of information on our website called Back on the Bricks, but we can also follow up with you personally via email if that's helpful to you. So I think a really important part of the response to this question is to talk about how amazing our students have been. We have an incredible campus community of students that you're about to become a part of. And the reason we've had such success with our COVID response is because our students have embraced this response and been willing to follow the parameters so that we can have an in-person experience and we can be connected on campus, which is critically important to our students, and it really is a hallmark of our College of Charleston experience. So we've been very fortunate that we were able to open campus in the fall and stay open. And then this spring, we started our semester in person in January and have been able to continue to stay open. So we have a number of responses in place and a lot of support. And one of the main things that we did is we designated a very talented employee, Bridget McLernan Sykes, to be our COVID lead. So she's leading and coordinating all of our efforts to support and care for our students, along with all of the policies and processes that we have in place on campus to keep our students and our faculty, staff, and greater community safe. So I'd like to turn it over to Bridget so she can talk about some of the details that she's been working on as part of this position she evolved into last summer.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cadill. We are so excited for you to be a part of Cougar Nation and to be part of this team and the student body. So some of the things that we have done over the last almost year now that have helped to keep the campus safe is we developed several protocols to make sure that students could be on campus but could also be here safely. So obviously, like everywhere else in the country and in the world, one of the things that we made mandatory was wearing masks on campus. And so people are very compliant, and wherever you look on campus, people are wearing masks and keeping each other safe. We have people that are walking around helping those that might have forgotten to put on a mask to make sure that they are wearing a mask. We've got several places where you can pick up a mask if you yourself do forget. We also have all sorts of signage all over campus that helps students and faculty and staff to remember that they should wash their hands regularly. And we have spaced out our classrooms currently. Now, all of this may change by the time the fall semester comes around, and we're going to stay on top of things as it evolves. But right now, we have our classrooms spaced out so that when students come to class, they can have an enriching experience in a very safe environment. We also have offered testing both semesters, and this particular semester we have we've mandated testing for about 300 students a week, and but then we also have space for students, faculty, and staff who just wish to be tested every week. We have a team of about 20 people that meets every single day at 9:30 in the morning, so that we stay in good communication and help our students that are in quarantine and isolation. We have ways for those students to request particular items, whether it is because they forgot something in their room, their favorite pillow, or they forgot a textbook, or their mother sent them something in the mail. We make sure those students get that personal attention every single day. Also, our staff at Student Health Services is very attuned to what the needs are of students that are in quarantine and isolation, and those students get a medical check-in every day. And but we also at Student Health Services have the opportunity for students to come and be seen for all the things that normal college students need while they're in college, but they can also be tested or directed to testing. We also, one other thing that happens and is something that people don't think about is we deliver meals to the students when they're in quarantine and isolation. And we've gotten rave reviews about our dining services that brings really delicious food to the students and also accommodates those students who have particular dietary needs or restrictions.
Thank you, Bridget and Dr. Cadill. I know we've had some great response from our students that have been on the receiving end of this good TLC provided by the college. All right, our next question asks, will the COVID vaccine be mandatory for students to come to campus next fall?
And Devin, this is me again with this question. So we are certainly monitoring the availability of the vaccine and strongly recommend everyone to be vaccinated when your group is able to be vaccinated. We know this has been a complicated rollout and certainly challenging. So we will continue to monitor this and the availability. We're also looking for the FDA to make sure that this is not an emergency approved vaccine, but we will be continuing to adapt this. I don't know that we will be able to fully mandate it by fall semester because we're not confident in the availability, but if it is available, this is something we will really want our students to have, and we'll work on a process and a timeline for them to be able to be vaccinated and to submit those records so that we can keep the campus as safe as possible and move back into the in-person, more in-person experiences and keep everyone safe. So please continue to monitor this and please watch for when you are eligible for the vaccine.
Thank you. Our next question asks, where does the college stand on deferrals, gap semesters, or gap year plans now in light of the COVID-19 pandemic?
I'll take that question. This is Suzette Stilley, the Dean of Admissions, and I'd like to just begin by telling all of you that we're very proud to have admitted you. We've spent the last several months reading your very impressive applications, and you should be very proud. Your parents should as well, that you're among this accomplished group. Now for the question about taking a gap semester or a gap year, we do have a policy that allows students to do that. Once you've been admitted and paid your deposit, you can reach out to us about your plans to take a gap year or semester. Typically, those students will not take any college courses during that time. If you do that, you are then considered a transfer student, and we could have you reapply and evaluate you based on that. I would encourage you, if you're considering a gap semester, to reach out to us. There are some nuances and your circumstances need to be taken into account, and we can explain all the pros and cons to you and really let you know if that's really the right move for you. I'll post the link to our gap information in the chat as well.
Thank you, Suzette. Our next question asks, what will housing look like for the fall? Will residence halls be at capacity, or is there a possibility that my incoming student may not get a room because of housing changes impacted by policy changes related to COVID?
Hi, everyone. My name is Megan Rowe, and I'm the Director of Campus Housing. I want to echo my colleagues about how excited I am to welcome you to campus this fall. I encourage you to apply for on-campus housing as soon as possible. As President Xu announced, based on current projections, we plan to have our halls at normal pre-COVID capacity. I want to assure you that we guarantee housing for incoming students who complete their housing application by May 1st. The application is open and can be accessed via My Charleston after the CofC enrollment deposit is paid. During the application process, students will designate their housing emergency contact, answer lifestyle questions, select a meal plan, and sign their housing contract. Students can also search for roommates with our new powerful roommate search tool. If you talk to families of current students, I want to point out that the room selection process is something new for incoming students. Previously, incoming students were assigned rooms, but we are excited to provide new students the opportunity to select their own space. In April, Campus Housing will send out more information about the room selection process, which will occur in June. Since their room selection time slot is based on their housing application complete date, we encourage all students to complete their application as soon as possible.
Thank you, Megan. All right, our next question is probably going to go back to you, Megan, again. Are freshmen eligible for single rooms if they are concerned for their health or COVID exposure in a shared room?
Sure. Since we plan to return to normal capacity, we will likely not have any single rooms available for incoming first-year students. However, if there is a specific health-related concern, please reach out to the campus housing team so that we can help you, or to the Center for Disability Services.
Great. And one last housing question. We know it's on everyone's minds right now. The CofC website shows that the Craig Hall, the male-only residence hall, is not available for the 2021-2022 school year. So what are the available male dormitory options for freshman students attending College of Charleston this fall?
Sure. We traditionally have one all-female hall, Buste, and one all-male hall, Craig. For the 21-22 academic year, we have taken both of these small residence halls offline to use for quarantine or isolation spaces as needed. But don't worry, we have plenty of great options for incoming first years, including traditional double style rooms, suite style spaces, and full-size apartments. I encourage students to check out the residence hall section of our website, housing.cofc.edu, for a full listing of buildings, including sample floor plans, amenities, and 360 video tours. Living on campus is a great way to find your new community, and we can't wait to welcome you to your new home.
Thank you, Megan. Our next question asks, when are final high school transcripts or AP/IB test scores and/or dual enrollment transcripts due?
Devin, I can take that. It's Amy again. So once you pay your enrollment deposit and you confirm that you're going to attend the College of Charleston, one of your next steps will be to make sure that you do reach out to your school counselor and let them know of your intentions, and make sure that before you leave high school and graduate that they're going to send a final high school transcript. And generally we do get those throughout the months of June and July. The same with any dual enrollment credit that you have from a community college or technical college. Please make sure that you reach out to that school and have a transcript sent to CofC, and then also list us on any of your AP, IB, or any other tests that you need to have come to us so that we can make sure that we can review those for any type of credit as well.
Thank you, Amy. Our next few questions are related to financial aid. So this first one asks, when will financial aid packages and financial scholarship awards be announced? Excuse me, final scholarship awards.
Hi, Devin. It's Erica. I am the Associate Director for Scholarships in our Financial Aid Office, and I want to take a moment to join my colleagues in extending my congratulations to each and every one of you on your acceptance to the College of Charleston's class of 2025. And we are very excited that you've taken the time to join us for this event tonight. Currently, we are expecting financial aid packages to be released during the first week of March. We encourage students to monitor their email accounts during this time, as we will send an email once those packages are available, and students will need to access the award information via the financial aid tab of My Charleston.
Thank you, Erica. Our next question asks, even though the college was test optional this year, should we still submit test scores now that we've been admitted for additional scholarship consideration?
So this one I'll take as well. So the college was truly test optional this year in relation to the admissions process. In the evaluation of institutional merit-based scholarships, we did not use test score as a means for determining eligibility. However, for South Carolina residents, if you need that test score in order to qualify for a state scholarship, you will have to send those official test scores to the Office of Admissions so that we can ensure that you are receiving the state scholarship that you are truly eligible for. We are awarding some scholarships this year based on financial need. So I do want to take this moment to encourage you that if you have not already submitted your 2021-2022 FAFSA, to please do so at your earliest convenience so that we can ensure that you're being considered for those sources of funding as well.
Thank you, Erica. Our next question asks, what is the college's 4-year graduation rate? Is it common for students to double major and graduate within 4 years?
Suzanne Austin, EVP and Provost here. Great questions. So the college's 4-year graduation rate is 57%, which is above the national average. With respect to the question about double majors, it absolutely can be done. We have a lot of students who do it. Many more students, I would say, have a major and 1 or 2 minors. So you really need to think about what it is you want to do, both short-term and long-term. My advice to you, if you are committed to doing a double major, is that the sooner you figure out what those 2 majors are, the better. And then you need to sit down with an advisor and map out semester by semester what your course plans are going to be. If you have the ability to take some courses in the summer, that of course will make it much easier. But getting some really good advising assistance on this and laying out your plan for the 4 years will be really important.
Thank you, Provost Austin. Our next question asks, what type of academic support is available to students, specifically those with learning disabilities? How will this work for my student if support services are offered only virtually?
Hi, Devin. Alicia Cadill in Student Affairs again, and happy to take this question. One of the areas that reports in my division is our Office of Disability Services. So that office has a number of resources available to students, and the College of Charleston has been designated as a learning disability friendly campus. So we really value the inclusion of all of our students and their access to equitable opportunities to learn in and out of the classroom. So one of the things we offer is an array of assisted technology. You can actually look at our Disability Services website to see several of those examples of the type of technology that's available to our students. It includes things like speech recognition or audio note taking, lots of different ways to support students with technology. But any student who has a learning disability would want to reach out to our Office of Disability Services to work through the process to receive accommodations for your classes. This is very individualized based on the student, and that office will work with you individually to, one, make sure you have what you need for those accommodations, but also to make sure you're connected to other campus resources. So we have an array of academic support resources. And a lot of those happen in our Center for Student Learning. That is an area that offers tutoring. It's also, everyone in that area is trained in universal design to make sure that disability inclusion is a part of everything that we do in that center. So we moved to academic support services being virtual in March very seamlessly, and I know that we will be able to continue to provide those services virtually for students who need them, as well as in person as we're able to make those in-person connections. So regardless of where and how you're learning, that support will be available and accessible to you. Thank you so much for that question.
Thank you, Alicia. Our next question asks, am I required to declare my major before or by orientation this summer?
Suzanne Austin here. Right now, this is not a requirement that you declare a major as you enter the college. However, I would certainly encourage you to do so if you have even, a general idea of what you think you'd like to major in. I mean, if you truly don't have any idea, I think coming in as an undeclared student is fine. But the advantage to declaring a major early is that you will then be assigned an advisor in a department. And the department will give you a community and an academic home at the college. Of course, I understand that students change majors. Some students change majors several times during their academic career. I did that myself, and I think that's fine. So if you do decide to declare a major as you're coming in this summer and in the fall, understand that you're perfectly welcome to look around and maybe make some changes. But I do think that if you've got some ideas, go ahead and declare a major early. Thank you.
Thank you, Provost Austin. Our next question asks, do all majors have internship opportunities, and are they a required part of the curriculum? If so, what support is available to students to find these internship opportunities?
Hi, Devin, Alicia Cadill again, and I also love talking about internships. I will share that over 75% of our students do at least one internship while they're at the college, so it's a point that we're really proud of. And that happens in a lot of different ways, depending on your interest and your path and the ways you want to explore this. So there are some majors who have internship requirements or courses that go along with that. And those would be guided by your faculty and by the folks that support you academically, making connections for those internships. But then for any student who's interested, our Career Center works to centralize all of our internship opportunities or to work individually with students to find just the right internship for them. So the Career Center is a great resource to find out options for both credit-bearing and non-credit-bearing internships and different ways that you can get those experiences that you would like to have. Additionally, we have a series of internship support programs. So we have some opportunities for students to engage in programs to make sure you have all the things that you need to apply for and prepare for the internship, as well as the support you need while you're in the internship to be successful. So the Career Center is an excellent resource along with your faculty advisors or faculty that teach your classes. So there are lots of people who are connected to internships, and we're happy to help you make the connection that works best for you. Thank you for that question.
Thank you. Our next question asks, what efforts does the college have in place to move towards a more inclusive and diverse campus culture?
Hi, Devin. My name is Renard Harris. I'm the Chief Diversity Officer of the campus. And like my colleagues, I want to congratulate you for taking yet another step toward the college. We look forward to seeing you here. So that's a great question. So I think the first thing I'll share is that it's part of our campus plan. So what does that mean? It means that diversity, equity, and inclusion are so important to our campus that we've documented that everyone will be held accountable to recognize your self-identity. And that's powerful. So in the classroom, outside the classroom, we know that your self-identity matters. We know it's a great part of how you write papers, how you speak, how you move about campus, and we want to honor and respect your self-identity. So that's the first piece I want to share. That it's part of the campus plan, and we're all accepting the beautiful challenge to hold each other accountable to make sure that we recognize that. The second thing I want to share is that we've worked with another company to have a module called Diversity EDU. Now, the fact that it's a module is not as important as this. Consistency matters when you talk about diversity. We've encouraged all our faculty, staff, and students to take this module. Again, it's a module. So a module by itself doesn't say much, but the fact that we are trying to say our consistency about what we mean by diversity matters from one end of the campus to the other is important, because you want a consistent message about where you stand on diversity. So that's a big part for all of us, that if we have a high percentage of the faculty you have, staff members, et cetera, and students will have a common message about what diversity means to us. Number 3, earlier you met the Executive Vice President of Academic Affairs, Provost Austin. So the Office of Institutional Diversity, our office, and Provost Austin's office, with many other collaborative partners, have created this hub called Critical Conversations. We have a website for it. This is important because we don't run away from hot topics. On that website, any faculty, any staff member, whether it be a speaker, a paper, anything they want to share with the community on these hot topics, we present on that website. We want everyone to know we don't shy away from issues. The College of Charleston is not on an island. It is part of the city, the state, the nation, and the world. And that's important to us, that we share this information, no matter how challenging. I think the last thing I want to share with you is that there's constant training, face-to-face, person-to-person training on our campus. Everything from training about microaggressions, similarities in our beautiful identities, microaffirmations. So it's always constant diversity, equity, inclusion parts happening on the campus. I think I'll close with this. The question was about what are we doing our efforts to make it more inclusive? Our goal is to make it part of the tapestry of the college. It's not an outlier, not when we talk about race out here, LGBTQ, religion. It's part of the tapestry of the college, and that's important because your self-identity matters. Great question. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. Okay, our last 2 pre-submitted questions here, and then we'll take some live from the chat. So this question asks, what is campus culture and student life like on campus right now? Are there clubs and organizations to get involved with currently? Are intramural sports teams and club sports still active?
I can take that one. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeremy Turner, and I serve as the College of Charleston Student Body President through the Student Government Association. I want to start off by echoing what everyone else has said and welcoming you to the College of Charleston campus community. So the campus culture right now is great despite the pandemic. Students feel really lucky that we have the opportunity to attend in-person classes, see our friends, and do all of the things that a normal college student would get to do in college, despite the circumstances we find ourselves in. One thing that you'll all quickly realize once you get on campus in the fall is that we are a resilient student body and there's no challenge that we can't overcome. And I really can't wait for you all to see that in person when you come in the fall. So in regards to clubs, we currently have over 240 clubs on campus with a wide range of categories. And these categories range from things such as a biology club all the way to the cheese club. So there is really a wide range of things that if you're interested in, you can get involved with. And even if there isn't a club that has a category of anything that you're particularly interested in right now, you can come through the Student Government Association and start your own club or organization once you get on campus in the fall. In regards to intramural sports and club sports, there are still teams meeting, practicing, and holding events, but it really varies from sport to sport and team to team.
Thank you, Jeremy. All right, our last pre-submitted question asks, I read about an admitted student day offered in March and April in past years. Is this something you will try and offer the incoming 2021 students, perhaps at later dates? Or because of COVID, will this not be considered?
Devin, I could take this one. Amy again, Vice President of Enrollment Planning. Believe me, there is nothing that we want more than to have great big gatherings when the time is right and it is appropriate and safe to do so. Right now, our admitted student days will be virtual. We've actually added things like this town hall and many other virtual programming throughout the spring semester. So we hope that you have seen that in your portal and in your in the accepted student events that are specifically just for you. But I do want to highlight a couple other options. We do currently offer in-person tours. So we've been doing that. We have added a couple. So we have 3 a day, Monday through Saturday. Those are smaller tours. And they are limited, and they do book up quickly. So please, I think Dean Suzette Stille put in the chat to please reach out to us if you're going to be planning on coming to Charleston, and we can make arrangements for you. Those will be smaller tours, and you'll also have an opportunity to meet a counselor as well. If that doesn't work out within your schedule, we absolutely have counselors available every single day. So you could also take a self-guided tour and still meet with somebody in person to answer your questions and still see the beautiful campus. Depending on where you are, if that's still not an option, you're further away, we have a really robust virtual tour that you can go to our virtual visitor center, and you can take a tour that will take you into the residence halls and into all of our beautiful academic buildings and around campus as well. So right now everything is planned to be virtual. Should that change later in the spring, obviously we will let you know, but again, we are here to work with you and to answer your questions. And if you have specific questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to your counselor or to any of us so we can answer those for you. I think you're on mute, Devin.
Thank you. We will now move into questions that you all have been submitting in the live chat function. Some we've covered already, so if you don't see your particular question, you can always email admissionsevents@cofc.edu, and I'm putting that email address in the chat for you all as well. So this first question asks, please describe your approach to campus safety, particularly given the location within the City of Charleston area.
Hi, Devin and everyone. Alicia Cadill in Student Affairs again. I'm happy to start the response to this question, then would also love for Jeremy to weigh in from a student perspective. I think that's also really important. So we have our public safety office is staffed 24/7, 365. These are certified police officers, state police officers, who really work from a community approach to their modeling on campus. So they're a very great partner with our students. Jeremy can talk a little bit about some safety walks that they do to make sure that they're continually listening to students, faculty, and staff about their needs on campus. So they're available to respond on campus and nearby. We have very strong partnerships with the City of Charleston, as well as the Charleston County Sheriff's Department for backup support if those things are needed, and a lot of partnerships there. We also provide our own EMS on campus so we can respond for fire or other emergencies, and we do that in partnership as well. But so we are continually looking at the campus, offering a strong presence of security to let folks know that we're there and that aware of the presence. In our residence halls, we staff the desks in all of our first-year residence halls 24/7. So there is either a student staff member there during the day, or we have security officers there all night long that are monitoring students coming and going, offering them support, making sure they're aware. Our students in the residence halls report their sense of safety in the hall as one of the top features of their experience living in the residence halls and how safe and secure that they feel. Now, all of that being said, we are in a city. And so thinking about all of the things that we have to do to be equal partners in that safety is really important. We encourage students to keep their items locked up and safe, and to be aware of those things. We encourage people to travel in groups, particularly in the evenings, if they're moving about the city, to use transportation, Uber or other transportation. We also provide a Cougar shuttle, and that shuttle will pick students up anywhere on the Charleston Peninsula, just with a phone call. It's free for students, and we pick them up in the evenings and into the early morning wherever they are and bring them back to campus or to residents near the campus. So there are a lot of approaches that we have for safety, and work really hard to make sure that students feel safe when they're on and certainly near the campus and in the city. Jeremy, would you talk about this from a student perspective, please?
Yes, I'd love to. Thank you so much, Dr. Cadill. So as Dr. Cadill briefly mentioned, the Student Government Association works with public safety fairly frequently, and we hold an annual event called the SGA Safety Walk, where we go around campus and see particular parts of campus that typically have safety-related issues and make sure that everything is functioning properly and all of the issues are addressed. You will notice when you get on campus that there are call boxes all around campus. These are used where if you find yourself in an emergency, you can hit the call button and you will be directly contacted by a member of public safety. Lighting is also a big issue on campus, and I can assure you that facilities management and public safety partner together to make sure that lights are changed out when they get burned out and that they are monitored throughout the week. So in short, the College of Charleston makes sure that the campus is protected and remains safe very frequently.
And Devin, I just add in one more piece. I think Jeremy and I, we get them all the time, but we have a very robust alert process as well that students and families can opt into that will give notices about things happening on campus if there's something to be aware of or other information that's important. That information can be pushed out via text message, email, and phone calls as well. So we have a very robust system for that in addition to all of the other things Jeremy and I talked about.
Thank you, Ed. Our next question is around legal residency and asks, my parents are relocating to South Carolina permanently for work this spring. Will this change my status as an out-of-state student?
I can take this question, Devin. So it very likely will change your status as to an in-state student. There is a process for documenting that. If you will reach out to the legal residency office at the College of Charleston, they'll be happy to assist you with that application.
Thank you, Suzette. All right, our next question is related to work study programs. Does the College of Charleston offer work study? And if so, what are the requirements to be chosen?
So Devin, I will start with that and kind of talk about it from the financial aid perspective. So the Federal Work Study Program is a program based on need. So every student that wants to be considered for a Federal Work Study Award would at minimum have to complete a FAFSA for the 2021-2022 academic year. Once we've received that FAFSA, every student that has indicated an interest on the FAFSA for a Federal Work Study program, we will reach out to those students and ask them to sign up on what's called the Federal Work Study Request List. And we work along with the Career Center to help them place students in various jobs. So there's a portal through the Career Center called Handshake, and that's where you would see all of the available positions that are available for on-campus employment. So between our office and the Career Center, you'd be kind of working with both of us to determine your eligibility for Federal Work Study.
And Devin, if I could just add in to what Erica shared, the Career Center does manage all student employment, and not all student employee positions require you to be eligible for federal work study. So there are a number of, we employ about 1,500 students on campus at any given time. So there are lots of opportunities from working in the residence halls to the positions that Erica was mentioning. So for any student that's interested in looking at student employment, I would encourage you to register with the Handshake website through the Career Center that Erica just mentioned, so you can look at all those employment opportunities. Literally, the college could not operate without our student employees on campus. So there are lots of opportunities. I really encourage that as another way to get connected on campus that sometimes students don't think about, but it's a great way to connect with an office and with other students on campus as well.
I would totally agree with you. I got started as a student worker myself many years ago. So, okay, so our next question is also related to student employment, but post-grad student employment. What resources does the college offer to help with job placement?
So I love this question too, and I will say I think it's a great idea for all of our incoming students to think of the journey to a career as a journey, starting right now and becoming familiar with what services are offered through our Career Center on campus. And we tailor those to the point where you are as a student on campus. So a student getting ready to come to college versus a third or fourth year student, we have different resources for you to make it manageable and not overwhelming and to take it in small bites. But the Career Center will continually work with you and offer opportunities. So there are any number of things you can do to be more career ready, to look for that right position while you're here at the college. And that can include things like job shadowing, doing interviews with employers, working on your resume, working on interview skills, internships like we talked about earlier. There's a whole number of things you can do to be job ready. But the Career Center is also really working on building all of our relationships with our employers. So you'll see regular employment fairs. A lot of times they'll be themed around different types of employment that you may be interested in. We also work with students on connections with other employers all around the country and internationally for some of our students. So there are a number of ways. The handshake that includes all of the student employment opportunities also includes all of our professional employment opportunities. So when you take a look at that a technology tool, there are lots of positions on there. And if you're not finding things that work for you or you're not sure what your interest is, we can help you explore that and look at other ways to make those connections. So there are a lot of resources out there, and I encourage you to start engaging with them very early on so that you can take it in small bites and create a plan that works best for you. Thanks, Devin.
Thank you. Okay, so we have two final questions that we're going to take from the live chat. This next one asks, I'm an incoming transfer student. So for the summer orientation, would I be in a group specifically with other transfer students?
Devin, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Devin, this is Amy Takayama-Perez again. So absolutely, congratulations as well, of course, to all of our transfer students out there. The College of Charleston will welcome hundreds of transfer students next fall. And so we will have a robust orientation program just for transfer students in a couple different sections or sessions, I should say, for you to pick from. Well, you'll meet with an academic advisor, go through your credit evaluation, and have all of your questions answered. So great question. And as a former transfer student myself, congratulations to all of you out there.
Thank you, Amy. Our last question tonight from the live chat asks, do we offer study abroad programs? And there was another question related to this in the chat that wanted to know if any of our program offerings were going to change next year or in the spring semester of 2022 with COVID.
Great question. Suzanne Austin here. Study abroad is something that is near and dear to my heart. And if you're interested in study abroad, you have made an excellent choice with the College of Charleston, because the college has been for many years a national leader in this area and a leading institution in the percentage of students who participate in a study abroad experience. We are also one of the major producers of Fulbright scholars. So there's so many opportunities when it comes to international education. Right now, like every other institution across the country, we are monitoring the global situation, and we are optimistic that we will be having some sorts of study abroad opportunities in the fall. Certainly, I think by spring, there'll be many more of those opportunities. And so stay tuned on that. But we offer, pre-pandemic, the college offered many study abroad opportunities, both faculty-led programs and then programs that are organized through other providers, which are also excellent. So we will be having something in the fall and definitely many more options in the spring.
Thank you, Provost Austin. That's going to conclude our question and answer portion for this evening. And before I hand it back over to President Hsu for closing remarks, I'd like to just remind you all that if your question was not addressed tonight, to please email admissionsevents@cfc.edu. I did drop that email address in the chat, and we'll make sure to answer your questions as soon as possible. But I also wanted to just reiterate what Amy mentioned earlier, that we have a whole host of spring events going on this semester just for our admitted students. So please take time, if you haven't already, to explore our virtual visitor center and next step page for admitted students and register for these opportunities. We are here for you. With that, I will now turn it back over to President Hsu for closing remarks.
Thank you, Devin, and thank you all for joining us for this virtual event. In your life, you will find that your education may be the most important individual asset you have. When you know how to learn, how to ask the right questions, and how to go about finding the right answers, you will discover that your potential and your opportunities are limitless. The College of Charleston's liberal arts approach to that education, the way we provide you breadth and depth, will help you navigate a world that is changing faster every day, and a world full of questions and is desperate in need of answers. I'm excited for all of you as you step onto the college level and begin to unlock these doors of possibilities. Welcome to the College of Charleston, and go Cougars. Thank you and have a good night.